Assalamu alaikum everyone, how's it going? In the previous video in this series I've already explained the context of some important files for the users and the groups of the Linux machine. In this folder we're just gonna go straight ahead to the commands, and actually most of the commands that we're gonna use today require sudo. So instead of actually typing sudo for each command, I'm just gonna change my user to the root user so that I get more privileges, so that I don't have to just use sudo. So to change actually user, we have to type su, which stands for switch user, and here we can type b hyphen or without the hyphen. The difference is actually with the hyphen it changes the our current working directory to the home directory of this user. So let me actually try to change the user without this hyphen and see what will happen. So here you type the password, and as you can see I'm at /home/Ahmed. But if we exit now and add the hyphen, now hit the password again, as you can see I'm at tilde, which is actually the home directory of this user, which is the /root. This is the home directory of the root user. So specifying tilde changed the working directory to the working directory of the user that we're connecting to. So the first command we're gonna have is actually create a user. So for this we have useradd, and you just specify the username. So I'm gonna specify user1 and hit enter. Now we got a user ID, a new user, which is called user1. And by default, when you create a user, it automatically creates a new group with the same name of this user, so which is in our case user1. And actually for more features you can actually use the command add user, and use we already have user1, so let's go for add user2. As you can see, this command created a user, a new group, and it's actually added here the user to this group, and it's also automatically created a new home directory /home/user2. For this user1, it didn't create a home directory. We're gonna check this now. So before this, we have to specify the password. This command is actually, it creates a user but with more features. So by default it creates a home directory. It sets a password. The user1 does not have a password, so the password can be anything, like you just pick it. Okay, they are not the same. Okay, I just clicked no, so I created a user without a password. We can change this later anyway. So the username can be like Ahmed user2. You can just skip these parameters, and this is confirmation. You hit enter. Now if I use ID user2, as you can see it looks kind of the same, but if we actually see the content of the home directory, as you can see we have user2 but not user1, because we use the useradd command, not the add user. So there are actually some values, some attributes for each user that we can actually change. So for example, to change actually or manipulate the states of any user, you can use the usermod command, and here you can specify any flag, but like not any flag, but like any of the flags that we're gonna be talking about in this video. So for example, let's start with the command flag, which actually renamed this user. So for example, we already named it like Ahmed user2, I believe. So I changed this to user2 changed, so that we can see it has changed. Okay, oh whoops, I didn't specify the user. I didn't specify the user which we are applying these changes to. Now let's actually see the content of the I don't need sudo. I just have to print the content of the password file. And as you can see, the last two lines are the two new users that we have changed, that we have created. As you can see here, it just points to the user1 home directory, but it does not exist. And here we have changed the username. Like this is the username, and this is actually the real name, the full name of our user. Okay, so this command has changed it. We can also change the default default ID of this user. So I'm gonna hit U with the 103 and the username. Now if we print this again, as you can see now this user2 has an ID of 103. We can also change the group ID, but for that actually we need to create a group. So this actually takes us to the next command, which is groupadd. And here you just specify the group name. For example, let's call it group 03, for example, something like this. And I'm gonna give it with a G flag. I'm gonna specify the group ID to 1003. This group ID already exists. Okay, let's take another one. Okay, 104. You can actually create two groups or two users with the same ID. So now we print the content. It's the same because this is for the users. We go to the as you can see here, we have created a new user group. This one. It's actually as you can see here, this is the group ID. Now let's add this user2 to this group. So usermod. Actually, to add a user to a group, you have to specify the G flag. This actually changes the I believe changes the users, actually appends to the A stands for appends and G to add groups. So let's actually add it to which group, for example, like the group that I've created right now, like group 03, and actually I have the user to be typed at the end. Now hit enter. Now if we type the user 2, as you can see, you have added a supplementary group to this user. If you want to actually change the root, like that, not the root, like the primary group, you have to use the G command, and here you type the group. Let's make this one the primary one, and hit user2. Now let's see the status of user2. As you can see, it has been removed from here to here because it's now the primary group, and now the user2 does not have any groups more than this one. You can also change the we can actually lock a user. So by actually usermod, first let me show you that we can actually connect to this user. We didn't set a password for this user, so I don't need sudo. Let's check the password for this user, and I'm gonna make okay. Now let's change the user to this Ahmed. Not Ahmed actually. I wanted to change my user to the user2. And it's asking me the password of this other user. So now, as you can see, I'm at user2. Now, for example, let's print a working directory with /home/user2. In this case, we were able to log into this user. Okay, we can actually let's get back to the roots. I can actually now log this user by using usermod with the L flag. And here specify the username, user2. And now, if I try to connect to this user, as you can see, oops, it didn't take effect probably. So actually, for the log command to take change, you have to actually log out and log back in. But instead of doing so, I'm just gonna open a new shell, and here with the SSH, here type this is the server. Now at the Ahmed user, let's change the user to user2. Type the password. I made a typo. Okay, now I didn't make one. It's actually shows us, I didn't make a typo the first time. I typed it correctly, but this is how the lock works. So no matter what you type, you just lock the user. So now going back to this terminal, let's actually close this one. Now, what else can we do? Actually, we can group mod any group that we have. So, for example, let me change the group ID of this group to 105. Of which group? For example, the user2 now. Let's change for the group 003. As you can see, permission denied. Yep, we are not at sudo. So as you can see, guys, this is why actually I decided to go to sudo from the beginning, just to ease my life. Group 03. Now, if we actually print the content of this file, which is at etc group. As you can see now, this group has this group 003 has the user ID of 105, and this is the member of the group anyway. So now we've created them. Let's actually delete them. So just for practice, to remove a group, you can just use the to remove a group. Let's start with the groups. You can just use the groupdel command and just pass the group name. And now hit enter. Cannot remove it because it's actually you can actually remove a group if you have a user. So let's actually first remove the user. Let's actually just go remove it. User deletes, and you specify the user2. In this case, I'm gonna specify the R flag. Why is that? Because the user2 has a directory which is at /home/user2, and I want to remove this directory when I delete this user. Okay, so let me hit enter, and as you can see, it has been removed, and I click the slash by mistake, I believe. So he says it has been removed, but the primary group of this user does still exists. So now let's go remove this group. Now it's removed. If we actually now open the user2, no such a user, but the user one still exists, I believe. We still have it, we didn't leave it. So this is the user we've created before, and this actually, guys, was the basics with the manipulating the users and the password states and the group state, I mean. So that's all for this video, guys. Thank you for watching, and see you on the next one.